So whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'll go for my pause. AOL initially established operations in Ireland in the late 1990s at a time when AOL was a rapidly growing European ISP business in England, France, and the UK, and a time when Ireland's economy was extraordinarily depressed. At that time, AOL's focus was almost entirely on low value-added activities.
I'm going to cut this one.
Okay.
You're glancing, who are you glancing at? Are you glancing at the camera?
No. I'm trying to think as though, like, the room out there, there are people there.
Oh.
Right? Or do you want me to just, I can just talk directly to it.
Okay. If you do that, just then glance more across the room.
There he is, here I am, and there's Bob.
Okay.
Yeah, because just glancing there, it looked like you were looking
Yeah,
at
because we
the
were all
camera.
standing here, that's why.
When you look at the camera, people get scared.
Okay.
And then smile. Smile. Diggy, diggy, diggy.
The
Yes.
deep voice I can do, the smiling is hard.
Yeah. Okay. Whenever you're
Ready? Okay. AOL initially established its business in Ireland in the late 1990s, at a time when Ireland's economy was relatively depressed compared to where it is today, and AOL had a growing, thriving ISP business in England, France, and the UK. AOL initially focused its activities in Ireland on what we call low value-add activities, particularly software localization for those European markets and call center activities for the subscription businesses in Europe. Interesting to note, however, that AOL never in this period or since has had a consumer-facing business in Ireland. Is this, I just wait and then restart whenever?
Good pause.
Okay. At the time AOL initially set up shop in Ireland, the focus and their decision-making around why they went to Ireland were particularly for two reasons. Number one, Ireland had a highly educated English-speaking workforce, and secondarily, their government provided an extraordinarily generous corporate tax rate. For those two reasons, AOL moved into Ireland. I think that's pretty consistent with what you find from most of the other companies who have moved into Ireland at the time. Since then, however, a number of things have significantly changed. Cut. Okay so far? Am I
But
a
I
little
need
bit?
5 seconds after you stop to instead of stopping and saying cut.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to do that over, but just I need 5 seconds before, 5 seconds after.
Okay. I'm going to 5 seconds before now. In the years after AOL initially set up shop in Dublin, two things changed. Ireland's economy changed dramatically. They no longer were a source of cheap labor, and doing things like software localization and call center activities were much less cost effective than they had originally been. At the same time, AOL's subscription businesses, ISP businesses in England and France and Germany became much less successful and much less core to AOL's business. So in that multi-pronged environment, that sucked, that's a dumb word. Start that one over again.
I guess we're not going to get a smile out of you. That's hard to do. That's what actors do. They smile.
But he's trying to keep his voice deep and smile at the same time.
Yeah, it's hard to do. Okay.
And if you're going to, well, I guess you're looking. It seems like you stopped looking at the camera, though, so the camera seemed to look over there and then look at the camera. It's not seeing you look over here.
Oh yeah, I didn't really come further. Okay, good point. I was going as far as, my horizon was just the two walls of the room. But yeah, I can come over here.
If you're going to use that technique. You don't have to use that technique. You just, like you're talking to somebody. You're talking to Steve Case. He's up there, and you're talking directly to him.
Yeah.
That's
All right,
fine,
then.
too.
I'm probably going to
Okay, Scorsese.
this anyway.
Pardon?
My plan is just to read what I have, and then
Right.
so I'll be focusing like right
If
there.
you saw Nancy's example on the EMBA website, she's talking. I find it here with the smiling.
All right.
I like the program. It's good to me.
Yeah, I don't know that
That's how she does
I don't know
it.
that I can do that, but I will.
Straight up.
I'll pretty much talk it some combination of Zeta and the slide. All right, let's go. Over the years since AOL initially set up in Ireland, the two things that changed at the same time were Ireland's economy changed dramatically. Ireland ceased to be a source of cheap labor, and at the same time the activities that were being conducted in Ireland, those low value add activities, of call center operations and software localization ceased to be core to AOL's value activities. These were no longer important to what the company was doing as AOL moved away from its traditional software and subscription model toward its current free web-based model. Therefore, Angus MacLean, who heads up the Dublin office, had a tremendous challenge ahead of him to understand how he could lead the Dublin, Ireland AOL office up the value chain, as it said, to keep his business relevant and to keep his people employed. Was that better?
That was very
That was
Yeah,
good.
that was very good.
Okay. So we'll go into the last two bullets now. Over the last several years, the Dublin call center activities were ceased completely. The office shut down and all of that staff transferred to India and other cheaper call center activities for AOL. The software localization business was outsourced to Eastern Europe, and through this, Angus led a transition in his workforce into AOL search technologies. They became a center of knowledge in our partnership with Google, finance technologies, personalization technologies, where AOL actually now has a tremendous number of tremendous amount of new IP, and other technical innovations and web development for AOL, making the Dublin Center a core competency in web development and engineering rather than a cost-centric, low-value activity center for AOL, which allowed his office to remain relevant. And as AOL's business model changed dramatically, as the Irish economy changed dramatically, creating more challenges for many companies started in Ireland through foreign direct investment for cost-related reasons. Through all of that, AOL Ireland's office has grown. There are more employees in the Dublin office now than there were before, more highly compensated and contributing much more directly to AOL's business. I think it's an interesting thing to look at in the context of the Intel visit to Ireland, which is another company started in Ireland, another multinational for the exact same reasons that AOL set up there, who's now about to go through the same challenges as Intel's core business model faces challenges and Ireland's economy continues to grow. We'll be curious to see if Intel's Dublin establishment can be as successful as AOL's was. That's it.
That was very good.